morning.
Good morning.
I'm very pleased to be here. I must tell you that it's the first time that I've ever been involved in the signing of an Open Skies agreement, and I hope it is not the last by any means. I want to thank our Master of Ceremonies for the welcome and thank Minister Skerritt, and if I may follow the established protocol and greet everybody else in the room, good morning. Thank you for coming. I have a few brief remarks I would like to make. This morning, the governments of St. Kitts and Nevis becomes the 104th Open Skies partner of the United States and the first in the OECS. As this Open Skies agreement strengthens and expands our already strong trade and tourism links, it will benefit businesses and travelers in St. Kitts and Nevis and in the United States. Open Skies is a pro-consumer, pro-competition, and pro-growth agreement. It represents a market-oriented approach to aviation. Airlines, not governments, will decide which cities to serve, the frequency of flights, the equipment used, and the rates charged. As many countries in the Caribbean are grappling with addressing consumer concerns about regional travel, myself among them, Open Skies is a significant step towards liberalizing civil aviation that will expand air service and also encourage more robust competition by airlines, while safeguarding aviation safety and security, all of which ultimately affects the consumer. I'd like to highlight just a few benefits which Open Skies agreements have brought to other countries and cities around the world as an example. One company in the United States found that a new direct service between an American city and a point in the European Union, made possible by this agreement in 2007 between the United States and the EU, could generate up to $720 million each year in new economic activity just on the U.S. side. The global air cargo business is worth about $60 billion a year and transports about 35% of the value of goods traded internationally. Open Skies allows cargo carriers to move goods more efficiently, benefiting businesses in the communities that they serve. For instance, Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport found that just 4 new weekly cargo flights between Atlanta and Korea generated $25 million in the state of Georgia alone. Both of these examples are from larger markets, but the real benefits that could arise from the new Open Skies agreement between the United States and St. Kitts and Nevis have many real possibilities for the people of our two countries. Let me only say, in addition, that it is my great pleasure to be here, and I would like to thank the Minister again and everybody who made this possible. I know it was a lot of work over a long period of time, and we are grateful for that, and certainly from speaking for the Embassy of the United States, we will look forward to do as many kinds of cooperative agreements as possible. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Yes. Just before the Minister, I would like the members of the negotiating team to stand and be recognized at this time.
I think there are one or two missing from the team this morning, one or two who are not here. But I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for the work you have done, and to apologize for the absence of the Attorney General, who wanted to be here, but I think today is a very busy day for him in the National Assembly. He wanted to be here because the last step for the vetting of this agreement was at his desk. And I'm pleased to say that after looking at it intensely, there was only one very small comment that he had. So it shows the level of work that the team carried out. I want to say a special welcome, of course, to our guests from the U.S. Embassy, who I believe are here for multitasking. Christopher Sandrolini, who will be signing the agreement on behalf of the U.S. government, and his associate, Kristen Mensah, who is also an officer at the U.S. Embassy. Welcome, and we hope we'll see a lot more of you in St. Kitts and Nevis in the future. If I can also adopt the protocol that's well established and welcome all of you for being here. An Open Skies Agreement is an international policy concept which calls for the liberalization of rules and regulations on the international aviation industry, thus opening what has been described already by my colleague, by our guest, as a free market for the airline industry. Its primary objectives are to liberalize the rules for international aviation markets by removing unnecessary barriers and minimizing government intervention. The provisions apply to passenger, all cargo, and combination air transportation and encompass both scheduled and charter services as well as private and state-based flights. Everybody benefits as time goes along under the umbrella of this agreement. I'm pleased to welcome all of you here today to witness what my colleague, Mr. McLean, has described as a historic agreement, simply because of the unprecedented nature for us and being the first in the OECS, as you mentioned. So it is in fact a historic occasion, and forgive us if we have been paying so much attention to it. You see what a great turnout we have, and my staff has gone to great lengths to prepare a very nice environment for us, as we had to move quickly from a smaller venue which McLean Hobson had arranged over closer to Parliament and closer to the Prime Minister's office. We wanted to impress you by bringing you closer to the Prime Minister's office. But unfortunately, when he did his math and he realized that the room there was a little too small, they had to scramble back into this room over at our ministry. So I want to thank the staff of the ministry who scrambled to borrow some plans and some other things which are not normally here.
It's the warmth of the reception.
So this historic ceremony today will feature the signing of this bilateral agreement between the United States of America and St. Kitts and Nevis, which will allow Open Skies to come into effect between our two nations. This ceremony would not be possible without the presence, obviously, of our guests from America, and I want to thank them especially for being here. Now, although we are one of the tiniest nations of the world, St. Kitts and Nevis have a proud and long-standing history, which includes positive bilateral economic and cultural relationships with the United States of America. I want to remind you, our guests from America especially, that the brightest and most entrepreneurial brain of America's founding fathers, Alexander Hamilton, was born and raised very humbly in neighboring Nevis. Yes. I made the point at a tourism event in New York recently that because the concept of an American dream was first devised by Alexander Hamilton, there must be an unwritten portion of that dream which includes a Caribbean vacation to St. Kitts and Nevis for all Americans. It is our hope that this agreement will help to enhance the implementation of many of those dreams in the future as more and more Americans travel to our region. I believe, therefore, that Alexander Hamilton, the most famous Caribbean American immigrant, would be pleased with the signing of this Open Skies Agreement were he alive today. An agreement which should help to strengthen an environment that will enable airlines to serve traveling customers more efficiently, create joint venture opportunities, reduce costs, maximize resources, and embrace competition in a rapidly changing global marketplace. This Open Skies Agreement creates an environment that should also generate increased employment opportunities and boost the aviation, trade, and tourism sectors of St. Kitts and Nevis over time. Although a very brief ceremony, it not only symbolizes our willingness to work together for the mutual benefit of our people, but it lays the foundation for increased trade in cargo and our business, and enhances the further development of the tourism and civil aviation sectors of both St. Kitts and Nevis and the United States. In closing, I want to thank the Right Honourable Prime Minister, Dr. Denzil Douglas, and my Cabinet colleagues for supporting our Ministry's bold decision just over 1 year ago to initiate this path towards a formal agreement, and to especially thank those members of our Open Skies negotiating team, some of whom were already recognized today, under the leadership of Mr. McLean Hobson, our Director of Maritime and Civil Aviation Affairs, for the many hours of their professional time that went into the negotiation of this bilateral agreement. I'm aware that there were several exchanges between both teams, as well as in-depth research on our part, and very intense discussions to have finally arrived at a mutually acceptable agreement. I'm therefore proud to be part of this historic signing ceremony. Thank you very much. A couple of years